Taken too soon. First tonight, Andrea Moxie's murder lays bare horrifying details. Her killer, a patient at a mental health facility. Police still unable to question the suspect as the family pleads for justice. The latest in the emotional story off the top. This as public outrage grows over violent crimes. Bahamians demand the return of the death penalty. But a former cabinet minister says it's unlikely, citing a landmark ruling that redefined justice in such cases. And two 13-year-old boys from Andros reported missing last week have been found safe, but their arrest is raising new questions. Police say they're suspects in a string of house break-ins. We'll tell you what was discovered and what's next in the investigation. Then in our news at 7:30, the Prime Minister's latest move in the fight against climate change has environmentalists talking, as a $300 million debt swap could free up over $120 million for conservation. How the move could reshape environmental efforts. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. 12-year-old Andrea Moxie was strangled and raped by her killer. The country's top cop revealing the shocking details about Moxie's murder, including the fact that the suspect was a patient at a mental health facility. Commissioner Clayton Fernando also telling reporters today, despite being arrested a day after the killing, investigators haven't been able to speak to the 32-year-old suspect. Delvado Emmanuel picks up the story from here.
A shocking crime became even more startling after police revealed more tragic details about the death of 12-year-old Andrea Moxie. The 7th grade student at Anatole Rogers High School was found dead in bushes near Faith Avenue South last Wednesday, a day after she was reported missing. Police say she was wearing only just a shirt with a cloth tied around her neck. During a press conference at police headquarters this morning, Police Commissioner Clayton Fernando revealed how her life was brutally cut short.
The cause of death for the young child is strangulation. We could safely say that she was sexually assaulted.
A day after she was found dead, police arrested a 32-year-old suspect in the Culpin Road area.
During his arrest, there was an altercation with the officers. He assaulted the officers one of the officers received injuries, and he was taken to hospital and treated for his injuries. He was arrested and is presently detained at PMH. Our information is that he's a known patient from Sandlands. I just spoke to one of the doctors just before coming over. He is being released from PMH and taken to Sandlands for further evaluation.
Police are not saying how they connected him to the brutal crime, but the top cop did say the suspect was a patient at the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, and so far they've been unable to question him about the crime due to doctor's orders.
We know that we are unable to speak to him at this time. The doctor is saying that we are unable to speak to him because of his condition at this time.
While police wait to question the suspect, Fernando says police are preparing to send evidence they've collected to a DNA lab for processing. Reporting for our news, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
All right, thanks for that, Delvado. And disturbing details also emerging about the tragic death of a 72-year-old woman who was found dead in her home on Ross Corner and East Street early Saturday morning. We've got more on this from the Commissioner's press conference this morning, coming up in our news at 7:30. Meanwhile, these latest cases leading to calls for the enforcement of capital punishment, but former State Minister for Legal Affairs and renowned attorney Damian Gomez KC says it's unlikely to happen anytime soon. Back in 2011, the Privy Council overturned the conviction and sentence of Maxo Tito, who had been found guilty of the 2002 murder of 16-year-old Donnell Conover. The council ruled the case did not meet the threshold of the worst to justify the death penalty. Gomez points out there is no recent case law in the Caribbean or the United Kingdom to suggest any change in this stance.
The test that's been applied is itself vague. It's difficult to garner when the threshold of the worst will be crossed.
The Penal Code has been amended to define what the worst of the worst could look like. It says the murder of a law enforcement officer while executing his duties, the murder of a judicial officer acting in the execution of his duties, and the murder of a person acting on powers given to them by a police officer. It continues the murder of a person if they are a witness to a case, the murder of a juror, or murder committed by a person in the course of a robbery, rape, kidnapping, terrorism, and any other felony.
They say the worst of the worst. That could mean any number of things. And what is horrific for us may be not as horrific for other people. And therein lies the quandary that the public is faced with. I mean, in effect, there will be no hangings because that's the state of the law.
All right, the death penalty debate comes back into focus coming up in our news at 7:30 when we hear from another noted attorney weighing in on the situation. And now to those two teenage boys from Andros who were reported missing by police last week. They've since been found in good health. But according to police, the 13-year-old boys were arrested around 6:45 p.m. on Sunday in Johnson's Bay after running away from home last Tuesday. And now we're learning the boys are suspects in multiple break-ins on the island. Police say they were discovered inside a home with stolen electronics, fishing gear, footwear, and flashlights. And while those boys are being investigated, officials at the Department of Rehabilitative Welfare Services explaining why it might seem like more children are running away from home lately, especially with several Marcos alerts issued in recent months. Chief Probation Officer Shaquille Knowles says there are a variety of reasons behind these cases.
With the girls, there are times when there are problems with relatives that live within the home. Maybe there's a concern for possible sexual abuse or assault. And then with the boys, sometimes we've seen that boys who are forced to work, they have these extra duties at home because mom has to work as well and provide for the family. There's no support from other relatives to the family. And so they're in situations where they're not comfortable.
And Knowles also sharing there isn't a specific number to call for help when children who run away from home.
We have about 39 cases for kids who are brought in for beyond parental control. And included in that, some of them are runaway. Some of them are leaving the home without permission, returning home after hours. Some of them are engaging in unhealthy sexual behavior. So we have all of those instances included in that.
All right, we've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg, I saw in the forecast in the U.S. that they are forecasting snow, which means we're going to have some snowbirds coming, I'm sure, very soon.
Yeah, there is a front that's going to be moving through most of the United States sometime by the middle to the end of the week.
Sure.
So they're expecting some really cold weather to be heading our way. We won't be getting...
I was going to say, because, they come in expecting that 70 and 75 and 80 and 90 degree weather, but I see we've had 60s in the forecast.
50s, actually.
Yeah,
we had some nighttime temperatures where temperatures went into the 50s, so it was chilly for us by our standards.
Good for us, though.
Yeah. We do.
A really hot summer.
We enjoy them. Come on down. Get some of this warmer temperatures, but yeah. All right, outside our studio, 75 degrees is our current temperature after we've been having those 50s and 60s at night. East-northeast winds at 40 miles per hour. It feels like temperature is still hanging out in the mid-70s. Temperatures right now at 72 in Freeport, 74 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. We pick up 76, Allenstown, Biminique, Governors Harbor, and in Nicholstown, Andros. Great Harbor Key here in the capital, 75. Central Bahamas, 77 in Kemps Bay. Coming down San Salvador, 76 Arthurstown, Cat Island. Georgetown, Exuma, and Deadman's Key, all 75s, and into the southeast Bahamas, got a lot of clouds down there. 79 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, 75, Delectable Bay as well, and you got some showers. Abrahams Bay also 77 with some showers nearby. Turks and Caicos 78, Matthewtown, Inagua, you guys are also 78 at this hour. Satellite radar composite. We have an upper level dip in the jet stream. We call it an upper level trough. That's basically moving across South Florida and into the Northwest Bahamas, but it's pumping a lot of moisture across our area. and is keeping the atmosphere unstable across the central and southeast Bahamas. There's a severe weather actually, watch for the southeast and central Bahamas that will continue through at least Wednesday. And of course, we expect a low pressure system actually to develop near the Turks and Caicos Islands. That's gonna actually elevate the winds. So we're asking you beachgoers and you boaters to stay out of the waters over the next couple of days, as this system will remain with us through at least Wednesday. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. We'll tell you more about this later on in our newscast.
Thanks, Greg. And still to come on our news, a proud moment for the Bahamas as Up and Away magazine soars to the top, earning the title of the world's leading in-flight magazine. The publisher calls it a David and Goliath victory. But first,
coming up in sports, we look back at a milestone moment when two Bahamians faced off at the Battle for Atlantis. And in today's news, updates from VJ Edgecombe and Coach Yo at Bahamar Hoops.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Hey, you want to catch the Charlie Bahamas show this week? Because I'm not the one you're going to want to see the Charlie Bahamas show for. You're going to want to see it for... psych! No, for the both of them. Amazing, amazing actors, and one happens to be Bahamian. Charlie Bahama this week with...
Tune in to relive the magic of one of the Bahamas' oldest and most iconic events, the 2024 Rollville Exuma Regatta. From thrilling native sloop races to delicious Bahamian food, games, and unforgettable entertainment. It was a celebration of culture, history, and pure island fun. Catch all the highlights, behind-the-scenes moments. Don't miss the exclusive recap of the 2024 Rollville Exuma Regatta. Tune in and relive the adventure, only on our TV.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, during the Thanksgiving holiday, the best college basketball programs in America dominate the headlines and flock to our shores. Today in sports history, we take a look back 9 years ago when Bahamians shared the floor and faced off against each other for the first time at one of these marquee events. November 25th, 2015, the Battle for Atlantis turned into the Battle for the Bahamas when Tavario Miller and his Texas A&M Aggies faced off against Shaquille Clare and his Texas Longhorns at the Imperial Arena. Clare had the better game on the stat sheet with 6 points and 5 rebounds off the bench, but it was Miller's Aggies that came away with the 84-73 win. A redshirt junior in his first season with the Longhorns, Clare went on to average 3.6 points and 3 boards per game that season. Miller went on to average 2.3 points and 3.7 rebounds per game in his junior year. Another fact that made it a milestone moment for Bahamian basketball, both players were Family Island products before they made the shift to Houston, Texas in the Frank Rutherford Elite Development Program. Originally from North Long Island, Miller graduated from the Phyllis Wheatley School in Houston and was ranked number 43 among power forwards in the class of 2013 by ESPN. Clare, an Andros native, starred at the Village School in Houston, where he was listed as the number 30 overall prospect by ESPN in the class of 2012. That was back then. Here's what's coming up on our sports tonight. VJ Edgecombe recaps his experience at Baha Mar Hoops. Coach Yo and Ole Miss begin their trek towards the Baha Mar Hoops Women's Championship, and the Bahamas Baseball Association looks to take another leap in the rankings. That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as Macy's reels from a massive financial scandal. An employee hides millions of dollars in expenses, sending shares tumbling. Plus, hundreds of Charlotte airport workers walk off the job demanding better pay as Thanksgiving travel hits its peak. With over 1 million travelers expected, just how will the strike impact operations? And while you might be paying a little more for eggs this year, food regulators say bird flu is scrambling supplies, with prices expected to rise. The details when our news returns.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the lives.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with a live business bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from a live business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
Candino Notes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the R News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Macy's is facing a major scandal after an employee intentionally hid up to $154 million in delivery expenses over several years. The company said it uncovered the scheme during an independent investigation, saying the employee acted alone and is no longer with the company. Macy's has delayed its full earnings report, which was set to release Thursday, to December 11th. Shares took a hit, dropping 3% to $15.85, leaving investors wondering what's next for the retail giant. Charlotte airport workers in North Carolina went on strike Monday, demanding higher wages during the busy Thanksgiving travel week. Hundreds walked off the job protesting what they call, quote, poverty wages of $12.50 to $19 an hour. The 24-hour strike includes a rally and Strikes-Giving lunch. Airport officials say they're monitoring operations as over 1 million travelers passed through this week. Bishop T.D. Jakes is stable after a medical emergency during his Sunday sermon at the Potter's House in Dallas. Video shows the renowned pastor lowering his microphone and shaking before being assisted. The church says he received immediate medical attention after delivering a powerful hour-long message. Jakes, who founded the 30,000-member megachurch in 1996, is said to be under medical care, and the church thanked the community for their prayers and support. Americans looking to stock up on eggs for holiday meals may face higher prices and limited supply due to ongoing avian influenza outbreaks. The disease has impacted egg-laying flocks in 48 states, leading to a nearly 3% drop in production compared to last year, according to the USDA. In October, outbreaks in Utah, Washington, and Oregon led to the loss of 2.8 million egg layers, drastically reducing production. The USDA projects lower egg production and higher prices through 2025, with the average cost of a dozen eggs rising 30% from last year. Intimate partner and family-related killings remain the deadliest form of violence for women, with approximately 51,100 women and girls killed in 2023, up from 48,800 the year before. That's according to a new report from the United Nations Women and UN Office on Drugs and Crime. On average, 140 women and girls were killed per day by a family member or intimate partner last year. Africa saw the highest rates of such killings, followed by the Americas and Oceania. Despite global efforts to curb violence, killings of women remain alarmingly high, often resulting from ongoing gender-based violence. The report emphasizes these deaths are preventable through timely intervention. And gangs in Haiti recruiting kids at shocking rates, with the number of minors joining up 70% in just a year, according to a new UNICEF report. UNICEF says right now as many as half of all gang members are children, with poverty and violence making it easy for gangs to target vulnerable kids. The report notes how boys are often forced to spy or fight, and girls made to cook, clean, or serve as wives. Many of these kids are young as 8, according to UNICEF, which says it's becoming harder to get them out of gangs. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was November 25th. Then in our news at 7:30, as the nation grapples with the tragic death of 12-year-old Adrielle Moxie, the social services minister reveals multiple calls were made for help, yet no intervention was possible. Just what went wrong? And a father's heartfelt story of resilience, grateful for the help that's kept his family off the streets but still fighting to rebuild. We'll tell you the powerful story of hope when our news returns.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with a live business bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from a live business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
Candino Notes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the Our News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
This holiday season, the Ministry of Energy and Transport is bringing light back to Bahamian homes. Through our partnership with Bahamas Power and Light, we're offering the Merry and Bright Holiday Reconnection Program, so you can pay as little as 10%.
On On this day in Bahamian history, in 2013, 110 Haitian migrants whose boat had capsized in Bahamian waters were rescued by the United States Coast Guard near Harvey Key in Exuma. 30 persons were confirmed to have died after the boat capsized. The next morning, the survivors were taken to Stanyo Key before being brought to the capital. Then in 2015, in the wake of the devastation of Hurricane Joaquin, then Prime Minister Perry Christie issued a proclamation declaring Wednesday, November 25th, a national day of thanksgiving and repentance. A national service of thanksgiving was held in New Providence and the Family Islands. And in 1963, U.S. President John F. Kennedy was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery 3 days after his assassination. 1999 saw 6-year-old Cuban Elian Gonzalez survive a smuggling boat shipwreck on its way to the United States, sparking a controversial custody case between the two countries. In 2001, Advanced Cell Technology Inc. of Massachusetts became the first organization to report the successful cloning of a human embryo. The company said it did not intend to create a human being, but to use the stem cells to treat disease. And finally, in 2016, Cuban political leader Fidel Castro, who transformed his country into the first communist state in the Western Hemisphere and became a symbol of communist revolution in Latin America, died at the age of 90. Well, we often hear 242 to the world, and Bahamas Air's Up and Away in-flight magazine, the latest example in Bahamian excellence on display on the global stage. In July, Bahamas Air's Up and Away magazine won the Caribbean Leading In-Flight Magazine Award from the World Travel Awards, a prestigious award in the tourism industry. From there, they were entered into the World Finals with other regional winners, and on November 24th, they were selected as the world's leading in-flight magazine. Publisher Roscoe Dames likens it to a David and Goliath moment.
I'm beaming from inside. I'm just trying to keep my composure, but it's amazing. Not only when you sit down and think about the competition that we were up against, all of the combined total of airlift for each of the competing magazines is around 250 million passengers. So when you look at United Airlines at 140 million, Air Canada for 44 million, they have a large number of persons that read and obviously be exposed to their publications. And for us to come out victorious because of our content, because of the adjudication and the voting, we are just stunned. You know, it's like a David and Goliath moment.
Yes, for sure. After coming up against mammoth airlines like Air Canada, United Airlines, with their millions of flights annually, he says he's proud his team of around 20 managed to come out on top.
We have a small team, but obviously a very powerful small team to be able to put Bahamas Air, the Bahamas, and us as a people on the global stage in the tourism industry for publishing. We're known for sun, sand, and sea and a beautiful destination, but the quality of the work that we put into the magazine obviously resonated with the adjudicators and persons who voted for the magazine. I'm ecstatic that, you know, hard work literally does pay off.
Oh boy, yes it does. And it's so good to see Bahamian excellence on display there. If you want to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs. It's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now, Marlena Leonard. She's got the latest headlines. And Marlena, I saw you were interviewing Roscoe there. I know also you were actually on the cover of one of the Up and Away magazines, right?
I was. It was such a surprise to be asked, and it was such a fun experience, so humbling, and of course so exciting that, of course, they've won this amazing award and so well deserved. That team works so hard.
Yeah,
absolutely awesome.
It's good to see that they got that global recognition, right?
Always, and against such big players. Well, thanks so much, Ken. And for you at home, remember, you have your chance to start the new year in style. This Boxing Day, you could drive away in a brand new all-electric 2024 BYD SUV. Visit ournews.bs, click on the Ride Easy with Our News banner, answer the question correctly, and you're entered to win. Good luck, but before you head over to our website, here are your latest headlines.
First tonight on Our News Live at 7:30.
The social services minister revealing multiple calls were made about Adriel Moxie dating years back. Hear his explanation as he says his ministry could have done more. And caught on camera, the commissioner of police revealing new details about the suspect in the death of a 72-year-old woman. Surveillance footage showing the suspect loitering outside earlier that night, allegedly appearing to use drugs. And the worst of the worst. Capital punishment is an option on the books, but what warrants the death penalty? Hear what a noted attorney has to say on the nuances and why it's so unlikely. And later, putting his money where his mouth is. The candid comments from a noted environmentalist after the Davis administration refinanced $300 million of debt, promising to free up over $120 million in funding for conservation. All that and more when Our News Live at 7:30 returns.
Candino Notes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the Our News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
This holiday season, the Ministry of Energy and Transport is bringing light back to Bahamian homes. Through our partnership with Bahamas Power and Light, we're offering the Merry and Bright Holiday Reconnection Program, so you can pay as little as 10% of your outstanding balance and get reconnected. Just in time for the holidays. Pay a little, light up a lot. The Ministry of Energy and Transport is committed to making sure no family is left in the dark this season.
Inti Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, Inti redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. Inti is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as Inti Corporation shines brighter than ever. Inti Corporation, powering your world, powering.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Marlena Leonard, in for Italia Hall. Social Services Minister Miles LaRota revealing that calls were made to social services more than once, dating years back, regarding 12-year-old Adriel Moxie. This comes after the preteen's body was found in bushes through a track road off Faith Avenue last Wednesday. The young girl's death gripping the nation, prompting outcry for investigations from various arms of government, social services amongst them. In a press conference today, the Social Services Minister telling press they tried to assist but were unsuccessful.
I can say that in one of those cases that the Department of Social Services takes steps to intervene, but we were not successful. I would also say there was another matter that occurred, I think, in July of 2022. It's fair to say that the department did not go as far as we could have done. So it is fair to say that we could have done more.
LaRota's comments coming ahead of the Commissioner of Police confirming in a press conference this morning that Adriel's cause of death was strangulation and that she was sexually assaulted. The Social Services Minister adding the Department of Social Services does have sensitive information on file for Adriel, which he says has to be withheld.
And so we can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Yes, this is a horrific event. And yet we at Social Services have to be guarded in what we say. We don't want it to be pouring on because it's a complex situation. as is lots of cases out there. And so we don't want to exact our pound of flesh. And sometimes when families are going through trauma, it does them no good, it does the community no good.
Disturbing details are emerging about the tragic death of a 72-year-old woman who was found dead in her home on Ross Corner and East Street early Saturday morning. The Commissioner of Police holding a press conference this morning, shedding light on the investigation and sharing new details about the suspect. Delvardo Emmanuel has the story.
Friday night began as a joyful family celebration, but ended in tragedy for the family of 72-year-old Vernencia Butler. Commissioner Clayton Fernanda telling reporters the grandmother was found dead hours after being dropped off home by her family members around 11 p.m. By 3 a.m., her son and grandson returned home to meet the horrifying discovery.
And as they entered, the bedroom is facing directly opposite the front door. And that bedroom door was open, so they were able to see directly into the room as they entered the apartment and noticed their mother was lying in the nude on the floor, appeared to be unresponsive. They also discovered a male who was also in the nude sitting on the bed.
Despite the tragic events, police have not classified the case as a homicide. Fernandez says there was no signs of visible injury on the 72-year-old body. An autopsy will be conducted to determine the exact cause of death. Meantime, police say the suspect, a 25-year-old man from the same area, entered the home through a living room window. It turns out the suspect is known to police and had just been released from prison in March. Fernandez says he had previously been arrested for vagrancy and stealing. The police commissioner says surveillance footage retrieved from a nearby business showed the suspect loitering outside earlier that night and appearing to be using drugs.
He was seen bareback, just a pants on, no shoes, in front of that establishment with other persons. It appears as though he was using some drugs. That's what the video footage is telling us and showing us at this time.
According to the top cop, the suspect is expected to be formally charged before the end of the week. Reporting for our news, I'm Delvardo Emmanuel.
Well, as many call for capital punishment following that shocking sexual assault and death of 12-year-old Adriel Moxie last week, many are again calling for the resumption of capital punishment. Tonight, a noted attorney is on the record explaining to our Berthany McDermott that while the law makes provision for it to happen, there are other factors at play.
The sexual assault and tragic death of 12-year-old Adriel Moxie again sparking the discussion of what is the worst of the worst crime that qualifies for a death penalty case. The term became a reality for us back in 2011 when the Privy Council overturned the conviction and sentencing of Max Otito, who was found guilty of the 2002 murder of 16-year-old Donnell Conover, determining the matter wasn't the worst of the worst. Noted defense attorney Christina Galana says the term is conceptual.
This worst of the worst concept is very abstract. Statute has made some attempt to define it, to kind of, make it identifiable. But the problem is, at the end of the day, the discretion still belongs to the judge.
Following the Privy Council ruling, the then government moved to amend the penal code to outline what that could look like. It outlines the murder of a law enforcement officer while executing his duties, the murder of a judicial officer acting in the execution of his duties, and the murder of a person acting on powers given to them by a police officer. It continues the murder of a person if they are a witness to a case, the murder of a juror, or a murder committed by a person in the course of a robbery, rape, kidnapping, terrorism, or any felony. In instances like these, the prosecution must first suggest the death penalty is necessary. But that hasn't been happening. Galanas, however, suggests the responsibility lies with the judges.
If I have a precedent or precedents to show that, hey, for the past 10, 15, 20 years, we have not been passing death sentences or life imprisonment sentences on this type of murder, more than likely that will sway the court heavily.
But before judges can even consider what is the worst of the worst, Galana says we must first get rid of the backlog in the court system, which she says in most instances is delaying justice.
Persons are not being tried within a reasonable time. Some say justice delayed is justice denied. you can only hold them on remand for so long.
Reporting for our news, I'm Berthany McDermott.
A Black Village home went up in flames Sunday, the same home where a landlord was killed 2 weeks ago. Family members say the landlord was attempting to collect months of unpaid rent at the time of his untimely death. Police say Jeffrey Burrows was found unresponsive inside his Hyler Street home shortly before 1 a.m. with stab wounds to his upper body. The home left destroyed by the flames Saturday. Police have yet to say what contributed to the fire. Burrows' tenant was charged with his murder earlier this month. And the Prime Minister is putting his money where his mouth is when it comes to climate change activism. At least that's what one environmentalist has to say about the recent Debt for Nature swap. It refinanced $300 million of debt and now promises to free up over $120 million in funding. The government says those funds will go toward marine conservation projects and climate change mitigation over the next 15 years. Eric Carey is no stranger to conservation efforts and what it takes to fund them. The now president and CEO of One Consultants, he spent nearly 20 years at the helm of the Bahamas National Trust.
This commitment is also demonstrative of, it's the Prime Minister putting his money where his mouth is, right? I mean, everyone says the Prime Minister is one of the loudest voices for climate change in the world right now, quite frankly. And being able to take this to the international stage is something my administration has done, is indeed putting money where your mouth is. BPAF, the Bahamas Protected Area Fund, was created to be this fund that provides the financing for the protected areas in the Bahamas. So this will be huge for BPAF.
The deal is only the fifth of its kind to ever happen in the world. The Davis administration signing the deal with the Nature Conservancy and the IDB, as well as other financial partners. Kerry says the deal could make a big difference for conservation efforts in the country.
We've done so many studies on the financial gap that conservation faces in the Bahamas. I mean, for the BNT alone, we talked about numbers of 100 million needing to be raised. We talked about super endowments that have to be put in place to effectively manage our national park system. That's just under the BNT. When you think about the needs for the Department of Forestry or the Department of Marine Resources and any community-based conservation programs, there is a significant need, and this initiative, I think, puts a significant dent.
Well, we have a lot more to get to tonight, but first it's time for your first look at weather. Meteorologist Greg Thompson joins us now with a look at the latest. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Marlena. That last story, good news. We need to read some more about that and see how that is going to really impact us. Temperature-wise, it's pretty nice and comfortable on the outside. Partly cloudy skies, temperature at 75 degrees. We have a little bit of a breeze out there, east-northeast at 14 miles per hour. It feels like temperature still hanging out at 75 degrees as well. Satellite radar composite. We have this upper level trough pumping a lot of moisture across the area. That's going to keep us with some unsettled weather across the central and southeast Bahamas. A severe thunderstorm watch is in place for the southeast and central Bahamas over the next 24 to 48 hours. As this moisture and this pattern will stay with us, there's also a low pressure system that's likely to develop near the Tricks and Caicos Islands. That's going to elevate winds, so we are looking for some very windy conditions down there. So near gale to almost gale watches in place for those areas as well. So we're asking you boaters and your beachgoers to stay out of the waters. It's going to be a little rough down there. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us. We'll tell you more about this system, and we're closing out the hurricane season. Nothing happening out there when we come back.
Still to come on our news, a homeless father of 3 speaks to our Joshua Williams, who says with the help of some good Samaritans, he's working hard to get his family back on their feet after being evicted. And the Christian Council calling for mutual respect, stating, if I don't impose my beliefs on you, please don't impose yours on our children. That's coming up when our news returns.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Tune in to relive the magic of one of the Bahamas' oldest and most iconic events, the 2024 Rollville Exuma Regatta. From thrilling native sloop races to delicious Bahamian food, games, and unforgettable entertainment. It was a celebration of culture, history, and pure island fun. Catch all the highlights, behind-the-scenes moments. Don't miss the exclusive recap of the 2024 Rollville Exuma Regatta. Tune in and relive the adventure, only on our TV.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful.
His father of 3 is speaking out, saying he's grateful for the help he's received so far and adding that without it, he and his family would be on the streets. And while he and his family now have somewhere to stay temporarily, he says he's still working hard to get his family back on their feet. Our Joshua Williams reports.
A family of 5 is leaning on the shoulders of Good Samaritans after they were evicted from their apartment. This young father spoke to me while holding his 2-month-old son. He asked for his identity to be hidden. He says everything went downhill following a violent altercation, saying his injuries kept him from work.
I ended up getting stabbed up by a nightclub. And again, the gentleman them tried to shoot me, but I was able to fight them off. But I ended up in a situation whereby I couldn't pay my rent because I had to stay home.
As a result, he says he rented a car for his family to sleep in. After the 5 days were up, he says they appealed for help.
2 nice ladies, a gentleman, they end up accommodating us with a place to stay for a week. And other ladies and stuff said they're going to give us somewhere to stay for a month, for 2 months, so we could catch ourselves.
I spoke to the father outside of the Registrar General's office, his girlfriend inside, sorting out documents for their 3 children. He says government needs to step in and do more to assist those in his position. Despite this, he says as the breadwinner, there are no excuses.
My children come first, automatically. I here to make sure they straight regardless, no matter what. The only thing I ain't gonna do is go do crime and get myself in trouble, because then I wouldn't be here for them. You know what I mean? But if it means me going and begging and asking, I never thought I'd be into this situation. Sometimes people be to the top of the chain and end up in a situation, but pride has killed them.
And while things may seem bleak now, this young father has this word of advice for those going through a similar situation.
Try reach out, because good people out there. Sometimes the government might fail. This government system, what they have in place for us, might fail. But you have great people out there with great heart who are willing to help. You know what I mean? So just go out and try.
Reporting for our news, I'm Joshua Williams.
A visit by Bahamian WNBA MVP and superstar Jonquel Jones to a local school sparked controversy over the past week, with some critics questioning the appropriateness of the event simply due to Jones being an openly gay woman. It was alleged that Jones, while speaking to a group of school students, introduced her female fiancé. Others have refuted those claims. President of the Christian Council, Apostle Dalton Fernander, sharing his position on the matter.
It is alleged. I don't know if it would be a fact. We're still trying to get with our contacts, and hopefully the ministry will be able to say if the remarks actually took place in the school. And so for us, it was being billed as a celebration of a championship. And a Bahamian is entitled to come home, and we are entitled as a people to celebrate a great Bahamian that does great work. The challenge is if the forum moves towards a place of personal or moral challenges, then we must realize that they are children, if it indeed it took place. And those who are educators, those who plan the event, if the platform shifts, it's their job to protect the vulnerable in our society.
Fernander requesting mutual respect in an environment where both sides often say they feel their beliefs and rights are being challenged.
What we do not want you to do is when your rights infringe on my rights, then we have a challenge. We are a Christian nation, and if I don't believe what you believe, just as how you won't want me to foster my belief on you, please, don't do it to our children. We appreciate that you're a Bahamian. If it is so, we appreciate that you're a champion. We're glad for you. but we don't want you to have conversations that cause minors to be challenged in their mindset.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Coming up in sports, VJ Edgecombe recaps his experience playing here at home, while Coach Yo and Ole Miss are next up on the floor here at Baha Mar Hoops.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the
level of college hoops and represent the country at the same time, VJ Edgecombe called playing in Baha Mar Hoops one of the most memorable moments of his young career. The Baylor Bears freshman phenom averaged 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists per game and shot 45% from three-point range in his 2 games at the Continental Tire Baha Mar Hoops Men's Championship. Over the course of the event, Edgecombe paid homage to the Bahamas both on and off the court. At one point, he wore a pair of Bahamas flag-themed customized Kobe Bryant 5s, first popularized by Buddy Hield.
It feels great. I mean, we didn't get the outcome that we wanted, but I'm thankful to be here. I just want to thank the Lord for allowing us to have the opportunity to play in the Bahamas. Most international kids never get to go home to play a game of basketball, so I just want to thank the Lord for that and thank Baylor and the Bahamas for allowing it to be possible for me.
Up next on the floor here at Baha Mar Hoops, Coach Yo, Rima Collins, and Ole Miss in the Women's Championship. Ole Miss, the number 17 team in the AP poll, tipped off competition earlier this afternoon in Game 1 of the Continental Tire Baha Mar Hoops Women's Championship against the Boston College Eagles. Ole Miss was seeking their first win against an ACC opponent since beating Georgia Tech in March of 2015. Headed into this week, they've gone 1-3 in their last 4 matchups against ACC opponents. Collins, the sophomore forward, has played sparingly this season and will have her first opportunity to play at home in an Ole Miss uniform. Ole Miss previously played in Baha Mar Hoops in 2022 when they reached the final of the Pink Flamingo Championships before a loss to Utah.
Sometimes I wonder if I made a mistake with scheduling these games so early, not because I'm ducking smoke, but because the Southeastern Conference is so competitive. But it's necessary. I think our program is at the place where now we need to compete and look forward to opportunities to compete as much as possible. I feel like the Baha Mar tournament has allowed us to do that, Baha Mar Hoops. So we're excited about competing, starting today with Boston College and then seeing what's next.
The Bahamas Baseball Association is looking to make another leap in the World Baseball Softball Confederation rankings. They'll have a chance to do so at the Under-15 Caribbean Baseball Cup, December 4th to 9th at the Andre Rogers National Stadium. This team previously boosted the country's ranking from 59 to 47 with their performance at the Under-15 Pan Am qualifiers last March in the Dominican Republic.
The importance that the country has to understand is called participation. The more events that we participate in all the age brackets helps the country to continue to raise its ranking.
That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. Looking forward to how Ole Miss plays on the court, but also looking forward to what Coach Yo chooses to wear on the sidelines. I trust her fashion sense as much as I trust her coaching. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, we saw a dip in temperatures and a breezy weekend. Does this week promise the same sweater weather? Greg is back with your extended weather forecast in just a moment when our news returns.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
This holiday season, the Ministry of Energy and Transport is bringing light back to Bahamian homes. Through our partnership with Bahamas Power and Light, we're offering the Merry and Bright Holiday Reconnection Program, so you can pay as little as 10% of your outstanding balance and get reconnected. Just in time for the holidays. Pay a little, light up a lot. The Ministry of Energy and Transport is committed to making sure no family is left in the dark this season.
Inti Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, Inti redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. Inti is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as Inti Corporation shines brighter than ever. Inti Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
This holiday season, our News and Easy Car Sales want to put you in a brand new electric ride.
Each week, tune into Our News at 7 and 7:30 for clues to questions about easy car sales, electric vehicles, and Generation E. Head over to our website, ournews.bs, for your chance to answer weekly trivia and enter to win.
It's simple. Answer correctly and you're automatically entered for your chance to win a brand new electric vehicle.
This is our news. Welcome back. We have an unsettled weather pattern developing across the central and southeast Bahamas. That's all courtesy of an upper level trough that's dipping across the Gulf of Mexico and across Florida area. That's helping to trigger quite a bit of showers and thunderstorms across that area. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas for at least 48 hours. We also have a gale watch and gale warning for the central and southeast Bahamas as a low pressure system is expected to develop across that area. And that will keep that unsettled weather pattern in place for us for at least another day or two. So we ask you to continue to monitor the progress of all of this as we are going to see quite a bit of rainfall across those areas. We are also asking you boaters and beachgoers to remain out of the waters across the central and southeast Bahamas. Small craft caution in effect for the northern islands. Northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet nearshore but up to 7 feet offshore and northeast to easterly swells. Low tide 9:53 tonight, high tide at 4:12 in the morning. Central and southeast Bahamas, small craft advisory, but once again, boaters and beachgoers stay out of the waters. Northeast to east winds 15 to 25 knots. They will be gusting to near gale force. 5 to 8 for seas, but building up to 10 feet in northeast to easterly swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, exception of the northwest Bahamas, central and southeast Bahamas will remain on unsettled weather pattern, but the northern islands seeing quite a bit of sunshine. Temperatures will climb back up into the 80s. Low temperatures at night into the low 70s, and then we have a frontal boundary expected by, well, Friday, just after Thanksgiving. So that's going to drop our temperatures just a bit, but we expect some cooler air across portions of the southeast United States. That's a look at our weather. Marlena.
All right, well, Greg, you mentioned it's Thanksgiving week. Obviously, that's a really busy travel week for a lot of people, especially a lot of the snowbirds who like to come down because they're expecting snow further north. They're looking for warmer temperatures. You know, I prefer my colder temperatures. Who do you think is going to win this weekend? Do you think they're going to be happy or
they're going to be happy? Our temperatures will not fall too much. They will be in the 70s once again. We won't see those 50s and 60s at night, but I'm sure the southeast United States, Florida in particular, they'll be seeing those 70s. So come on over. We have some warmer temperatures to offer. You don't have the turkey and the ham, but bring it while you're coming.
We got the turkey and the ham too sometimes. So we got the sun and the breeze. We get best of both worlds.
A combination of all.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Greg. And for you at home, remember, you have your chance to start the new year in style. This Boxing Day, you could drive away in a brand new all-electric 2024 BYD SUV. Visit ournews.bs, click the Ride Easy with Our News banner, answer the question correctly, and you're entered to win. Good luck. Well, on behalf of the entire team, thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. I'm Marlena Leonard. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.